We are Steve and Jill.
Together, we've been buying and reselling land since the 90s.
Our data-centric approach leaves our buyers asking, how can you sell it so cheap?
Here on the Land Academy Show,
We answer that and more. Steve and Jill here.
Howdy.
Welcome to the Land Academy Show, entertaining land investment talk. I'm Steve and Jack Butella.
And I'm Jill DeWitt. Broadcasting from Carroll County, Arkansas. How's that?
Today's Jack Thursday, and I'm going to talk about why recovering house flippers seem to be choosing land to flip in these current real estate conditions.
Thank you.
Makes sense to me.
I can't wait to just sit back and be a passenger here.
Before we get into it, let's take a question posted by one of our members on the landinvestors.com online community. It's free, and please don't forget to subscribe on the Land Academy YouTube channel and comment on the shows you like. Let me say this. That YouTube channel that we have built is a massive library. It's not just these 1900 or so podcast episodes. Those are all in there. It's also commercials and snippets of information from Career Path and the Thursday calls. I call it the Land Academy Library. It's tons and tons of content for free to help you in your land career and ultimately help you to decide whether or not Land Academy is for you. And it's not for everybody. It's certainly not for everybody. But after perusing through there for a couple hours, you're going to find out whether or not you think that you want to pursue this or stick to what you're doing now.
Thank you. I was just thinking about that. So this is show number 1876, right? Wonder how old I'm going to be when we're on show 3000 or show 5000.
Well, I can.
What's that going to? You're like. When you're a kid in school and you're like, okay, what year am I going to graduate? I'm going to be 18. I graduate this year. So now I'm doing it the other way. We're on show 1876. How old? Don't share my age.
I'm not going to share your age.
Okay. How about your age?
I'd like to live through the rest of the day.
All right.
Let's share my age.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. How old will you be on show 5000 if we keep up this current rate? But wait, we do
260 shows a year.
Wait, 5 times
52
26 weeks
times 5.
Oh.
There's 260 shows ish a year. Let's say 250 because there's holidays and reruns. 250 a year. In 6 years, I will be 60. And that'll be 1,500 shows. We have 1,876 already. So we've been doing this for more than 5 years, 6 years.
A long time. That'll be good. All right. This is cool. Back to the question. Heidi and Dan wrote, "Hello, group. We are still very new within the Land Academy and our new venture. Not even 1 year in, but we've done some deals and some homework as well. Yes, good job. After listening to Jack's recent discussion of finding the appropriate CPA, I have a strong concern that our CPA will not be able to direct us correctly within this business structure. Can anyone recommend a CPA that has a strong understanding of Pennsylvania tax structure? We're hoping to get things in alignment before tax season is upon us and hoping to find someone that does not have a waiting period. Any help will be greatly appreciated." That's a great place, by the way. Putting that, I don't know if that was in Discord or the landinvestors.com page, but either way, hopefully it was both. You'll find somebody. That's a great place to sort and find. And what better way to find someone that you could work with than word of mouth? Because someone's like, hey, this guy and I have a connection. You're doing what I'm doing. He can roll you in. Fingers crossed.
I don't think it's so much Pennsylvania you should honestly be concerned about. First of all, you're asking a question here that Jill's reading that 50% of the people or more who are listening to this, whether they're in Land Academy or not, have the same serious and valid concern. This is not normal, what we do from a tax standpoint. If we owned a convenience store, I would say, oh, go talk to the CPA over here. He knows exactly what to do. We buy and sell real estate, mostly for cash on the buy side and the sell side. We do deals that are that cross the fiscal and calendar year boundaries. So there's a lot of complicated things that go on. You
And
do it in
different
multiple states.
Yep.
And, there's things called real estate designations that you can get approved from with the IRS. It's not simple stuff. If you have, what I'm recommending is that you have that conversation just like I did, and ask in the format and the phrase of a question with your accountant, and see if their eyes gloss over, or if they say, oh yeah, I have 3 other clients that I do it with over here.
Mm-hmm.
I have spent a substantial amount of time talking to our accountant, who I've had since 1995, about representing everybody in the group. And he has said, you have to be off your rocker.
Isn't that funny? We tried to do it. We're like, hey, let's hook you up. We're about to bring you hundreds of new clients. And he's like, no, I'm good.
To finish the thought, speaking from experience, because I spent some time in the accounting field, when you choose tax, first of all, if you choose to get your CPA, your certified public accountant, pass the test, and you choose tax as a designation, you're at the pretty close to the bottom from a pay scale and an interest level that you can choose in that profession. It's all the lowest paid and some of the most difficult stuff, in my opinion. So there's an illusion out there that CPAs are really, really bright, and it requires a lot of education, and I don't share that opinion. You really need to talk to the CPA and
I'm like, well, that isn't all right.
ask them some serious questions, and here's the thing.
Please don't hold back. Please tell us what you really think.
I can say this stuff because I've worn these shoes.
Okay.
If I was criticizing somebody about something that I knew nothing about, then I would. That's not okay. So
it's kind of funny.
And I wish that I could just say, this is what you need to do. This, and this, and that's about it, and you'll be good. I really do. I wish I could answer the question like that. The fact is, this is one of those things that you're going to have to learn about yourself. And that's one of the things we talk a lot about, actually, in Career Path.
It's hard. We have lived in different states, as you may or may not know, and we've gone down the path of trying, like, okay, we're at a different level now. We're in a different state now. We're going to interview some new people. We get some good referrals from some friends that are also making some great money, thinking, all right, we got this. And then we get into it and have conversations with these guys, and they don't even know what we're talking about. I'm like, what the heck? So we've ended up staying with your same guy for decades now, and kind of bringing him up to our level, but it works. Half of the stuff. I mean, you teach him a lot every year, and I appreciate that.
That exactly happens. So
yeah,
it's mid-October, and if you are making money, you or anybody else listening in real estate, you need to address this now. The last thing you want to, and I've done this. I've done this multiple times, not recently, but where I just wait till, February, March, maybe even April of the next year. The number, it's long past I can do anything about how much taxes I owe. And you get to that spot and you submit all your stuff to your accountant, and he slides back a number across, since this is what you're going to owe this year. And then that's when, I have to sleep.
Jill cries.
I communicate it to Jill, and then I sleep on the couch for a week.
Yep.
And so we're long past those years, Jill and I, so you do not want to do that. You need to really do what I call a dry run right now.
Yeah.
Of what you think you're going to owe, and make some decisions that can potentially, ethically and legally, reduce that tax liability before December 31st comes.
Thank you.
And if you have a CPA, many CPAs will say, well, what are you talking about? You can't do that. The taxes that you owe are the taxes that you owe. They just run the other way. I've long said this, and I'll end it on this because Jill's eyes are glassing over.
Yep.
You are in the greatest position from managing tax liability by buying and selling land than you could arguably possibly be. You have so much opportunity to incur expenses and reduce expenses based on where you're buying land, how often you're buying it, how you're buying it, whether you go see it. So you have a lot of control. It's one of the reasons that I chose this in my life, because I know how much, taxes are maybe the first or second largest liability that business owners have, or can be. It's usually payroll, taxes, and then rent or something like that. So please manage it. That's my point.
Thank you.
Today's Jack Thursday. Why recovering house flippers choose land flipping. This is why you're listening.
Oh, good. Not my just now you did it. We're almost 10 minutes in and we haven't even got to the topic. Your turn.
I have speaking recently with a lot of people who did very, very well flipping houses in this last business cycle.
Yeah.
Where anybody could buy a house and then maybe paint it or maybe do nothing to it and sell it for more pretty quickly because the market lended itself to that. There was such a demand for lots of reasons, COVID and the shift
where people were
in
moving, leaving
demographics.
states, and all of that.
How this younger generation is
getting kids in school where it's the best.
Really used to working online and on and on. So that has, with interest rates and inflation and a bunch of other reasons, supply chain issues, it's slowed down. The housing market has slowed down. Maybe that's even being nice. It's kind of stopped. And so those once very successful house flippers are kind of looking around saying, well, what do we do now? We have many people joining us and they're reaching out to Jill and I that are asking about land. And they're interested in flipping land and replacing that potential revenue with buying and selling land. So I think it's great. I think the people who I've talked to, flipping a house, this is my strong opinion. And Jill,
we've done this, by the way.
Pipe in here, please.
We've
flipping a house is probably 4 or 5 times more difficult than flipping a piece of land.
Absolutely.
And more expensive.
Absolutely. You lose more sleep. I mean, you spend more time there. I mean, yeah, things go wrong and there's sometimes you're the only one that can solve it. Think about like the worst case scenario I can think about as I'm closing a land deal is maybe something's wrong. Maybe my title company has an issue or they go, whatever it is. Fine, I can jump in and find another title company. And I can do that from anywhere in the world. I don't have to run over there and pick up paperwork and drive it somewhere else. I could just start fresh and not think about it. So that's like probably the worst thing I could probably think of. But boy, when you open that front door and you walk in a house and you start ripping up walls and you have this beautiful budget and you have this dreamy plans and you realize that's not going to work. We didn't know this was going on. And, the permit's going to take an extra month. I mean, think about it. There's so many things that could mess you up. And then all to make, even in today's numbers, what are we talking? I think the real good ones will make $50,000 to $100,000.
Yeah, that's about right.
I mean, that's good. If you make $50,000 to $100,000 on a flip, good for you. I mean, that's great money. How hard was that? And how can you repeat that? And most of them are like, no, that was my home run deal. Usually I make 20, 30, 40 on a deal. And like our best one, I think we made 40.
The best
30?
house flip we did, we made $100,000.
Did we make that much? Oh, I know we made that much.
But Jill and I don't renovate these houses. We never did, and we've only done a handful of deals.
We
renovated a couple.
Yeah.
But the House Academy way is not renovating anything.
No,
it's just so.
Exactly.
The point to this is that the market for buying and selling houses, the way that it was effectively done for the last 4 or 5 years, has dwindled and will continue to dwindle. And buying and selling land continues to be more viable because, it's because it's so simple. And the personality type that can flip houses is very, very set up to understand flipping land. That's my point. You're already like 80% of the way there. You just have to, you need to learn how we use data to make these decisions instead of like, I wonder what's going to happen on Saturday.
My favorite sentence that I share with these people when I talk to them on the phone is, man, if you can do that, you're going to love this.
Yeah, great. That's awesome.
That's it for me.
That summarizes it all.
Trust me, what you're putting 100 hours in, you could put in 5. And they're like, what? I'm like, yeah, hold on. Let me show you. And that's it. And they're like, done. Happy you could join us today. 5 days a week, you can find us here on the Land Academy Show.
Tomorrow's Jill Friday. She's going to talk about the pros and cons of talking to sellers for hours. You are not alone in your real estate ambition.
You feeling good?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Was that a good Thursday for you?
Yeah.
Okay,
I think it's, I think I communicated a single message. If you're a house flipper and you're wondering what's next, could be land.
Yep. That's it. It's funny. But I remember back in the day, it hasn't come up very much, but people used to like, oh, but land's not sexy. Now they're like, this is too hard. Easy is sexy.
I think that we embedded Discord onto landinvestors.com so people can see what we're all talking about. And it's removed a ton of, let's call it the riffraff of Land Academy. If you're an interior designer and you made a lot of money in the last 5 or 8 years flipping houses, please do not join Land Academy.
Well, wait a minute. What if you want an easier life, though? Don't say that.
I just don't think that personality type. I don't know if this can work.
Don't listen to him. I'll help you.
Or prove me wrong.
I will.
If
There's
you're
plenty.
an accountant or an engineer or a software designer or a career salesperson, if you have a corporate sales or a business owner of any kind,
tech mind,
this is going to make sense to you.
Totally.
Or any type of data or database person.
Yeah. I don't know. That's great. You guys just covered everyone. Yeah. Awesome. Hey, thank you for tuning in. We hope you find our content value. I know we've said this before, but we really mean it. We do appreciate your support. So please check out our YouTube channel, hit the subscribe button, and comment on the shows that you love.
We are Jack and Jill. Information
and inspiration
to buy undervalued property.
We hope you found our content valuable and we appreciate your support. If you have not already, please check out our channel and hit the subscribe button.
And your comments and suggestions help us to create the content you're here for. Hitting the like button helps to support our channel's algorithm and gauge your interest for future shows.